When you tell a man to have no emotional control and be more feminine, that's a school shooter. A school shooter is not a man with masculine accountability. He's a man who's told, act how you feel.
The new Andrew Tate and PPD podcast just dropped. It's one of the best interviews ever. We will be talking about Cardi B, what it is to be a man, and whether promiscuity is good or not. Let's dive in.
Your girl left you, you miss her. I get it. We've all been heartbroken. She's with a new guy. You're upset. She doesn't care. You care. I get all of it. But there has to be a point where you get to a level of pride and you just go, that's not who I am. I lost her. That's life.
The best way to take revenge on a girlfriend that left you is to become your best version. If she comes back a few years later and she sees you in fantastic shape, but also on point on your finances, but also on point on your emotional state, being ambitious, at this point she's going to ask herself, what have I done? And she's going to regret it. And that's the best way to take revenge of someone that didn't believe in you. But the thing is that so many men are not willing to put in the work in order to become their best self, financially, physically, emotionally, spiritually. If you do not put on the work, then it's not a surprise that when someone leaves you, you're incapable of finding someone else. But men have to work and improve every single day because the competition as a man is so high. I have a great news for you guys. If you're a man and you want to crack the code of dating, I'm pre-launching today the new course about dating expert.
Attention, men. Tired of not getting dates? Welcome to Masculine Academy, where we reveal the secrets to land unlimited dates. Learn how to leverage Instagram and use AI to boost your chances of getting dates. Join Masculine Academy today.
Click on the link in the description below.
When you tell a man to have no emotional control and be more feminine, that's a school shooter. A school shooter is not a man with masculine accountability. He's a man who's told, act how you feel all the time. Then he gets picked on for long enough. Throw on some drugs on top his psychiatrist gave him, throw in a lack of a girlfriend, and he's had enough. That's where school shooting comes from. School shooting does not come from men being masculine. It comes from the absolute opposite of these things, and they know this. They know this very, very well.
When you look at the pandemic of school shooters, you realize that there's a pattern that you can identify. Most of them come from a broken family. Most of them come from single mother families or families where there's a deadbeat dad. And this is often the case when the father doesn't do this job, when the father is not in the house. And you realize that these people that are school shooters are actually extremely feminine. Most of them do not control their emotions. And you end up in a situation where these people that are extremely mentally unstable have access to dangerous weapons and they go into school and damage the school and kill people. And this is why Andrew is totally right on that. School shooters are not masculine. If we want to get rid of the pandemic of school shooters, we need to make men stronger, men more resilient, men more masculine, and we need to reintroduce strong dads in the house.
Now you have a school shooter who's going to go out there, be a piece of shit and kill people, and then their parents are on TV, well, yeah, he was failed by the system. They don't even feel any shame. It's unbelievable. If one of my children or someone close to me did something that heinous, I would be disgusted. I would apologize just for the name alone. There's no honor left. There's no pride left in the name. And this is what happens when you remove honor and pride from people. If you have no honor and no pride, nothing really matters. What matters anyway? It doesn't matter if you're out of shape. It doesn't matter if your kid's a piece of shit and a criminal. Nothing matters without honor and pride.
Honor and pride are so important in societies. And this is why back in the day, shaming people for their bad behavior was actually positive for the society. It was difficult for the individual, but overall the impact was positive for the society as a whole. But today, as soon as you start shaming someone because they are out of shape or they are mentally unstable, or maybe because they do not fit in the society, they are useless, then you're the bad person. But that's so important in the society to be healthy. As a society, we need to have a clear idea of what is the ideal for the individual. And most of the people that you talk to, the ideal is to have a family and have children. And when you think about societies today, most of the Western societies are based on Christian values. And as soon as you start removing these values, you can see the society going into totally different direction. And this is what Nietzsche was saying when he was talking about the death of God. The idea of taking the cornerstone of the society, which is the religion or the Christian religion for the Western countries, and believing that the country will stay the same, is totally opposite to what is currently happening. A lot of people are actually currently fighting against scientific research, against the science, because that goes against their narrative. So if you remove the religion in the society, you also remove the science.
What do I really teach young kids that's genuine dangerous? What do I say? Go to the gym, stick up for yourself? Stick up for yourself, go to the gym, you're allowed an opinion. Educate yourself, be smart, work hard, believe in things, believe in yourself. Have friends, have strong friends around you. Don't listen to dishonest men or dishonest women. It's not misogynistic to say dishonest people. Non-gendered should be anywhere near you. You should have standards for who's your friend, standards for who you have relationships with romantically, whether you're gay or straight. You should have standards. Telling men to have standards is now wrong think, because as soon as men have standards, they lose control. They don't want any man to have any standard on anything. They want to come along and say, no, you need the 8th injection. Take it.
It's pretty spot on that point. Without standards, it's very easy for people to manipulate men. And especially when you see the mainstream media trying to portray certain narratives that are totally ludicrous, and people are buying into it. We've seen it recently in the past 2-3 years, and we are seeing it again and again when people are saying, for example, we don't know what a woman is, or we don't know what a man is, or is it fair for men to compete in women's sport? This type of insane questions are being asked today because a lot of men do not have a backbone and do not have standards. If you're getting value in this video, let us know by liking the video and subscribe for more similar content.
Even going to the gym today is an act of rebellion. Even being in good physical condition is an act of rebellion. If I put up a photo of me and I'm in good physical shape, there are people who write underneath it, oh, you're dumb, you train so they insult you for it. Like, you're a bad person because you have standards for yourself. That's the level of bug man they want to get you to.
It is very true that the society today is victim-based. Even people that have been to private education, now if they add a non-binary to their name, as soon as they do it, then they become victim. As soon as someone add a little queer into their name, at this point they become a victim. When you want to have standards as a man, you're not respected. This is why the society is demonizing people that are successful or that are in great physical shape. Because the narrative is to have everyone that is a victim, so they can give away all their rights to the government, and the government can do whatever they want with the money and their rights. This is what happened in North Korea. And this is exactly what happened in most of the communist countries. The government promised that if they give away their land, everyone will have money. Everyone will have a big house next to the sea. Everyone will have loads of food. And you can see that all of these societies failed. Because the communist idea just doesn't work.
Jake Shields said people are freaking out about young boys looking up to Andrew Tate, but totally fine with young girls looking up to Cardi B and the Kardashians.
A lot of people are totally fine with Cardi B preaching about hypersexualization of women and objectifying of women. She's proclaiming that it's totally fine for women to be a sex slave to a man. Is that the example that we want for our young people? At the same time, she's glamorizing materialism. She's talking about money all the time, like if it is the only parameters in someone's life. Money is very important, especially as a man. But money has a purpose, and the purpose is to be able to protect and to provide for your family. So money on its own is not a goal or objective. And as most people know, money doesn't buy happiness. Buying a new bag is great, very good for a short period of time. As we know, the happiness or the dopamine associated with this purchase drops really quickly. She's a terrible example of what a woman should be. She's always in trouble fighting with other women. She's always publishing provocative posts on social media. And she's got a life full of drama. So how come we are supporting her, but at the same time people are criticizing Andrew Tate all the time?
I think that truth is instilled by God in all of us, and I think if you tell the truth, you're a good person.
I totally agree. If you tell the truth, you're a good person. It is so hard to be able to tell the truth all the time. But telling the truth requires a next level of commitment, a next level of honesty as well. People that tell the truth are so important in today's society based on delusional ideas. When someone is claiming that he's a woman or she's a man because she claims that she is or is, then at some point, someone should be able to tell the truth so we can keep our society sane.
I don't think jail teaches you much new. What it does is confirm everything you already know. It confirms everything you know about the reality of the outside world, that you need to be physically strong so that you're not attacked by others, and mentally strong so you're not attacked by yourself. You learn who's on your side and who isn't. You learn who's a coward and who's not. You learn who's an opportunist and who isn't. Your circle, you certainly learn a lot about the people around you when you go to a jail cell, that's for sure.
Andrew Tate is pretty spot on this point as well. Jail probably teaches you a lot about what you already know. It teaches you that you have to be physically strong so you can fight other people. You also have to be mentally strong so you're not dominated by your own thoughts. But also, being physically strong shows a lot of stoicism and discipline, which are directly correlated with your success in life. So as a man, it is so important that your discipline, your body usually reflects the type of person you are.
The reason I think I'm particularly at risk is for the thing you just said. It's the masculine youth who are my fans. It's the 11-year-olds, 12-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds. They are the future of the world. They're the people you want to go and die in a ditch. They're the soldiers you need. Those are the people you need psyoped. You need them psyoped. You can't have a bunch of men who aren't psyoped. Mm-hmm. That's when you lose control of everything, when the men don't listen anymore. And they're all listening to me. And I'm teaching them things like God, religion, personal responsibility, accountability, discipline. And everyone's saying, well, why are they attacking Andrew for just telling the truth and making me go to the gym? Because when you have these things, when you have accountability and discipline and personal responsibility, you have a barrier, you have a parameter, you have a no, you have a limit. They don't want you to have a limit. None of the men are allowed limits. We must accept whatever we are given from our relationship with our woman, from the government, from our job. We're just the slaves.
Men thrive with discipline, and men need and crave respect. But in order for a man to have boundaries, this person has to have discipline and values. Because when you do not have values, then you accept everything that people tell you. And when you have a backbone, at this point, you're a strong man. And if you're surrounded and you're part of a community as well, it's very difficult for you to be manipulated by other people. Likewise, men need to have standards when it comes to relationship with women, but also relationship with their friends and family members. At some point, they should be able to say, this is acceptable or this is not acceptable and should never be tolerated. But they have to stand up for themselves. It is totally fine to disagree with a lot of people. It is totally fine to disagree with your family as well. And that's why men, especially men, need to have a backbone in order to speak the truth.
I said, Tristan, we're in jail and we're suffering, but everybody we love is good. I'm a man, I'm supposed to suffer. I'll sit here with the cockroaches. If that means all my kids eat, everyone I care about eats, my mother's fed, my mother has a roof over her head, everybody has everything they want. Only person suffering is me. I'll take that all day. Most men who go to jail can't say that.
I am not saying that men should go to jail. But at the same time, what I'm saying is that men should be able to protect their family. Men should be able to have a backbone. That you know that when you're away, your family is fed. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter why you're suffering. But if you're suffering and at the same time you're protecting your family and you're providing, that should be more than enough for any man. Because men, we all know that suffering is part of being a man, part of our destiny. This is why throughout history, men have always been dispensable. And men had to go on the battlefield to protect their family. And that was totally fine. So today as a man, if you have to suffer and give your best for your family to eat and to have a roof over their head, then that's what you need to do.
And also, another thing I would like to say is the reason you need to but date lots of women when you're younger, so you have choices.
Define the two.
Yeah.
Which is more important, date or sleep, in your eyes?
I feel like you don't really, I think that sleeping with a woman, you learn more about them. It's a closer relationship. So I'd say probably sleep with X amount, not crazy amounts, but I would say that, okay, let me give an example. If I go to the supermarket and pick up an apple, and it's the only apple I've ever eaten, can I really say if it's a good apple or a bad apple? It's the only apple I've ever tasted. It might be sour, it might be terrible, I don't know. Whereas if I try 10 apples, I can tell the differences between apples. So I say, what's a good apple, what's a bad apple? I think you need that degree of experience, because sometimes you'll be with a woman and go, yeah, she's great, but if you're not experienced enough, you realize she really isn't all that great, and she actually treats you like a dickhead. Whereas if you've been with enough women, you can always reference back to that girl who actually was really good to you. I'm no longer interested in just random chicks. I want a woman who I know would wait for me if I did 10 years. That's what I want. That's what I find interesting. That's what I'm in love with now. I can't be in love with a random chick. Like nearly any problem on earth, whether it's pedophilia, whether it's school shooting, whether it's men's mental health, whether it's women's mental health, whether it's female promiscuity, no matter what it is, whether it's crime, no matter what it is, how do you fix the problem? By building men of caliber, by building men of capability and status and honor and dignity, and by building men of ability to be good standing citizens who are respected by their peers.
There's a huge inconsistency in his message at this point about promiscuity. You cannot say on one hand that you want men to sleep with lots of different women, but on the other hand, you're fighting against female promiscuity. It doesn't make any sense. At the same time, comparing apples and sleeping with women is not exactly the same, is it? Because knowing a woman doesn't only involve sleeping with that woman. You can totally know whether someone is a good person or not by talking to that person or dating that person. It doesn't necessarily mean that because you have sexual intercourse with that person, at this point you will know whether this person is a good person or a bad person. That's a lame excuse. Because if you use the same logic, it means that women also have to have the ability to sleep with multiple men in order to find which one fit them. This logic is quite flawed. What I recommend is for people to meet different women, to date women until they find the right partner, but I do not encourage promiscuity. If you are an ambitious man in your 20s or 30s and you want to join a group of like-minded individuals that are thriving to success and are great people, great entrepreneurs, then join our brotherhood group on Locals. Click on the link in the description below. If you have missed my review of the 41 tenets of Andrew Tate, click on this video.